I knew I'd been shot. It felt like a baseball bat, and I thought the wind had just been knocked out of me. We received a suspicious person call from a crossing guard who actually knew the individual, had dealt with him in the past. Of course, it was summertime, and he was wearing an overcoat and had a billy stick under his overcoat. That was the first really suspicious indicator. School was laying out, and that was our main concern, was the traffic and the students being close by. And I was the second officer on scene, and when I got in my car, he immediately started yelling at us to get back in our cars, get away from him. And we saw this billy stick under his coat. Didn't know he had any other weapon, and until he rammed his right hand into his coat pocket. Unfortunately for us, he started firing through his coat pocket. He hit me. It happened so quickly, and I don't even remember shooting my gun. I told people that afterwards. I didn't even know I had fired my gun. If you'd asked me 30 years ago if I'd be here today, I would have said no.
I certainly remember the specifics of the injuries because, that is vivid in my mind. You don't forget stuff like that. People survive all kinds of illnesses and injuries, and you think, how in the world did they survive that? And I can't help but think their will to live has at least something to do with that. You can't measure that objectively, but I just can't help but think it does. And Lim had a very strong will to live. He had a lot of friends.
The community as well helped me survive. Through their letters and cards and well wishes, and occasionally I still run into people that remember me and want to know how I'm doing. And of course, I was born and raised here, but I have to admit that's why I stayed here. I can't speak enough about the community and the support they gave me at that time.
So he actually called me at work. I had a few minutes, and so I was able to talk with him, and we had a very pleasant exchange, and it was really good to hear from him. It meant a lot to me that he reached out to me after all this time. And what meant the most was when he told me, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think of you. And so that was very meaningful for me because, as a physician, sometimes what you remember are the bad things. The patients you might have lost, or the patients who did succumb to their illness, or the criticism you receive, or things like that sort. But when you hear something like that, it's like, oh my gosh, it makes it all worthwhile.